All right, let me check the sound. I will just check everything on every platform and we will start. Okay, I think it works. All right, let's go. Hello, everybody. My name is Alex. If someone still doesn't know, this is the first time when I will be doing my stream on English, and from now on, all my streams will be in English. And I guess there are some people who can understand me for the first time. So let me introduce what I'm doing here, what all my streams are about, and what I already achieved and what I will do further. Okay, let's begin from the beginning, right? Uh, Around 2017, I started to do such streams, and initially I didn't record them. That's why first five streams are not available because I just didn't record them. But after that, yeah, I started to keep my recordings on my YouTube channel, and those streams are available. But if you don't speak Russian, you probably will not understand what I'm talking about there, because, yeah, initially my streams were in Russian language. And why I'm switching to English in first place, because I noticed that there is some interest to that, to what I'm doing from English speaking audience, and I also think it will be a good practice for me to try to do such streams in English. So that's why from now on I will stream in English. But yeah, let's get back to the story. I started to do that in 2017. Uh, at that time, I really wanted to know more about game development, because I wanted to grow as a software engineer. Almost like most of my career, I was a front-end engineer, web developer focused on front-end. I worked with Plain.js, Angular, like very first Angular, AngularJS, and later generations of that. And eventually later I also worked with React and Next.js, and worked as a full stack web developer as well, with Node.js and Python on backend. And eventually, actually not that long ago, I received AWS certification. So I'm in general was a web developer through my entire career, and I wanted to push the bar up. I wanted to become smarter, if I can say that. And I wanted to learn something, I would say, challenging, but is harder, much harder what I already do. And I always loved computer games, and yeah, I always was thinking maybe I should learn some game dev. It's interesting, it's challenging, it's awesome. in many ways, and there are, a lot of technologies that use in game dev. You probably heard about Unreal Engine and about how it's called, Unity. Yeah, and there are also a lot of JavaScript gaming libraries. I even worked with some of them and even like released some demos long ago. Like I remember I published to Microsoft Store some like demo which is written on Game.js, which is practically a JavaScript clone of Pygame in Python. Yeah, I wanted to raise the bar, and at that time I found this Babylon.js library, and I thought, oh, that's cool, that's interesting, and probably I can start my game dev journey from there because I already was a web developer. I know JavaScript and I know how to develop for web. In general, I thought probably it will be easier for me to enter from Babylon.js. Yeah, that's why I decided to learn that one. And yeah, also one more motivation is that, WebGL apps can run in browser, so you don't need to install anything. And I felt that this field has some potential in the future, so that's why I decided to start to learn Babylon.js. And in order to make this learning productive, I started to do such streams. Of course, first I read manuals on Babylon.js that were available at that time, but of course, to learn truly, I need some practice, and I decided, okay, so there is Babylon.js, 3D graphics library with some physics plugins, and I was thinking, what if I will write my own gaming engine on it? Right? I never set a goal to write an actual game because game it's mostly graphics, right? So what you see in the game, you see textures, you see 3D models, you see some effects, and that those kind of things are artwork, and I'm actually terrible at any form of art. When you play games, you never see actual code, right? You can only speculate on how this code potentially could work basing on behavior that you see in the game, but you never actually see code. And yeah, I was thinking, okay, I am probably good at coding, so I will write a gaming engine. Maybe I will fill it with some very, very basic models and textures and things. And yeah, I will leave this art work for artists, but I want to do the software, the backbone, the gaming engine itself. And yeah, I set this ambitious goal to write a gaming engine on Babylon.js, and I instantly decided that it will be first person type of engine, centered to first person perspective kind of games. And I started to do this, but I knew that there is a big chance that I may abandon this activity. I needed something to keep me motivated to continue. And that's why I started to do such streams every Sunday. Because now I know that every Sunday I need to do a stream that means that I need at least to think what I will be doing. I need to think on mechanics that I will be implementing. And yeah, actually, those scheduled streams kept me pushing through. And that's why I'm still here after so much years. Yeah, with that being said, I want to point your attention to the fact that those kind of streams are not tutorial videos. Very often I have no idea what I'm trying to do and how to implement that. And if you saw my previous streams, you probably saw that I am struggling a lot sometimes when thinking, when I don't know what to do, and inventing something right during the stream. So my streams are more like a reality show rather than educational stuff because I'm learning myself. So consider it a reality show when some guy trying to implement something. Yeah, that's why, because I myself was the main audience of such streams, I didn't really worry with output quality of that because I never expected that people will actually watch me. But it changed, and I actually gained some amount of subscribers. Yeah, around 150 came to my channel for other reasons, for other kind of videos that I posted, but I still gained like more than 200 people thanks to my streams. And now when I'm switching to English, probably audience will grow even fewer, but audience is not my main goal. Again, I am doing this to keep me motivated. But of course, it's nice to know that someone is also finding this interesting. So of course, I'm welcoming everybody who comes to my streams or to the comment section at YouTube to recordings of my streams. So feel free to ask questions live or in comments on any language you want, like literally any language. If I can speak language, I can reply to that question live on the same language. If I don't know, I can try to use a translator or something like that. Yeah, so I've been doing this quite long already. However, many people probably can say that the progress is not that much for such amount of years. And that's not wrong, but the fact that all I developed here, like 99% of that, I did it live during streams. So that means that if we count all hours that I spent on streams, this is about the amount of time that I actually spent on developing. And keeping that in mind, I think the pace is quite okay. So yeah, probably after like 5 years, I could already launch my engine. But again, I did it only at free time during my streams. And I think actually we doing quite good. I implemented a lot of things, and I will show some of them very soon. And actually, live demo is available. The link is in the description. It's HTTPS Babylon.js babylon.js-fps.com. Babylon.js-fps.com. Yeah, so go and check it out. All right. So I guess it's enough for introduction. I guess many people already want to see some action. Yeah, so let me show. First of all, I think I can close this. Okay, first of all, like main menu, and here actually a lot of going on, especially this section. I actually made this control sections where you can actually rebind your key bindings. And also audio section, it's all working perfectly. Some chapters select. Loading and saving game is also working, but we'll talk about it later probably. And so right now here is available only one sandbox level. Again, it's alpha version, but I want to show you some mechanics that I implemented. First of all, you can push up some light objects by running into them, something that you probably saw in Half-Life, I believe in Half-Life 2. You could do this, and actually, yeah, this is using Havoc, like physics engine Havoc, exactly the one that was used in Half-Life 2. So technically, physics of Half-Life 2 is reachable here. Okay, what else? Doors mechanics. Actually, you can see tooltips. And actually, I kicked the pistol on accident. Yeah, so tooltips available. It's also actually quite interesting how I did this messaging system. There is actually there is a message queue and the set of outlets on the screen where to output particular message. And so when something happened, for example, when some object is in proximity, the message is sent to message queue and then routed to outlet. And you can see here is like another outlet to show how much health I just picked up, and it all works through that message queue. I grabbed a weapon. Yeah. So, and speaking of weapons, let me grab everything. As you can see, I didn't make very good models, but regarding weapon models, I found some simple models online, but I heavily edit them. So, for example, for pistol, I added a magazine, I changed the grip shape a little bit, and what is most important, I actually rigged them to make animatable. And made all animations and moving part with a frame rate that matches the engine frame rate. You actually already can see idle animation. Again, I'm not an artist, I'm not like motion designer, right? So that's why it all looks kind of primitive, but I wrote all the code, all mechanics behind that, and you can see weapons. Many weapons has melee attacks, can do like this. Also weapons, aside from it shooting, it may have tactic reload, or it may have full reload. Okay, here is the full. you can see that I moved the slide. And actually bullets here are ballistical, so they are actually physical. They are losing height with the time. Of course, you can adjust speed and mass and everything. And actually, I implemented ricochets. Ricochets are not dangerous. I was thinking about it. I could make them dangerous, but I decided not to. Okay, some other guns even more interesting. This is SMG. It can actually, you can aim down sights. I didn't implement sights, but you can see it's zooming in a little bit. But what is more important, the recoil is lower when you're shooting like this. Like this, as you can see, recoil is bigger, right? And many guns actually have fire modes. So here is full auto, here is a single. Let's go further. This one is AK, but it's not AK-47. It's like very fancy AK because aside from full auto and single, it has burst mode. It's, I believe, AK-104 has burst mode. Yeah, and also melee attack, also aiming. It also has like tactic reload and full reload. Let me show you. So here, like replacing mag and moving the slide. And I have this. Yeah, I made it from the same model as an AK, but it's actually shotgun. You may think that this is Saiga 12, and yeah, it shoots like several pellets. And I did reload animation different. Here I moving slide with the left hand while holding the gun in the right hand. So actually like hand goes like behind the gun. Yeah, I didn't make hands, but you got the idea. Grenades. I think I need to add more friction to them because they are sliding kind of comical. And rocket launchers. Rocket launcher has huge recoil, which is reasonable, as you can see. Yep. So items, there might be items that requires click a button to pick up, and items that you can collect like in Quake by running into them, but I have max health, so yeah. So doors. Some doors can be opened like that. I actually spent some time to connect switches to doors properly to make it easier to save and to load and to develop. So it actually had 2 revisions to do that system, but now you can open doors with switch. Doors closes back after some time and switch restores. And this is one-time switch which doesn't do anything, just changes color. And it's actually took a while to connect switch state with door state. Initially, I was keeping the state on the switch, but later I changed that. Actually, door has its own state, and it doesn't really care from which it was, like from where the state was changed. door just plays its own state, and the state can be altered from outside, but actually it's the door holds the state. That's why right now it's easier to save and load game state, because before it was, yeah, weird. Well, stairs, actually ascending stairs is harder than descending, but I will be honest, it happened on happy accident. I didn't put efforts into that. Okay, explosive barrels. And as you can see, actually, explosions doesn't go through wall. For example, in GTA 3 or GTA Vice City, if you explode a grenade behind the wall, the explosion will still hurt you. But here you can see two explosive barrels. If I destroy this one, damage doesn't go through walls. And yeah, there are like chain explosions, also quite a logic behind that. What else? Glass. Actually, glass is interesting. These how it's called, ashes. I programmed their physics myself. It's not a havoc, but what I did, actually, it's important where you hit the glass, and these particles go to appropriate direction. For example, if I hit here, most of them goes to the right, and if I here, most of them goes to the left. So it has some directions, and you can actually also like break it with a melee attack. I even added the sound. All right. What else? Triggers. So of course, in reality, most of triggers will be invisible. Here, I just keep them like that, so you can see how it works. This one is a functional triggering, which actually activates some function. Here, particularly, it's just creates explosion somewhere there. So you can see this is a teleport, and the yellow is a damage zone. As you can see, when I'm standing inside, my health is decreasing. You can, for example, implement lava in games like that. You can just put invisible damage zone above the lava, and this is how it will affect health. And damage zone is programmable. It can affect only player or only monsters, or both. And speaking of monsters, I created a lot of archetypes of monsters, and here are just a couple of them, but those monsters are debugging monsters. They don't really have any personality in it. It's just, to debug some collisions and some mechanics. But I want to demonstrate. This one is called melee chaser. It's chasing you, and if it reaches you, it deals some melee attack. And what is cool, he doesn't go through walls. He knows he can, when, okay, from the beginning, he is chasing you, and if you hide from him and he hit the wall, he can randomly choose where to go. He may change any direction, to go from the right or from the left, or he can even turn around. How it actually works: when it collides, It randomly chooses a direction and try to rotate until he can find free direction where he is able to move. And he actually monsters can also collect medkits, and they can even gain health more than they had initially, but no more than predefined maximum. Okay, this is first archetype. There is another one which is flying, and it has much more variety how to bypass obstacles. Sometimes he chooses to fly up like this. And he falls on death. And okay, let's take a look at more aggressive ones. This one shoots, but if it's close, he also does melee attack. So it's already more like a Doom monster who has like melee and range attack. And there is flying version of that one. Monsters can activate triggers as well. You can even teleport. They actually can walk on stairs. And okay, there is a turret. This is very aggressive. Turret win, I guess. All right. And yeah, initially monsters in a sleep state, but if they see you, they attack you, and they can also in fight, as you can see. If one monster hurt another one, they attack each other. This one will try to melee that one. Right now, because they are moving with equal speed, sometimes they have hard times to catch up each other if they only have melee attack. Usually they can keep up for each other, but if they have a range attack, they just shoot at each other. And now let me show you some real cool stuff from programming perspective. It's sector manager, and yes. Okay, so actually I'm using spatial partitioning pattern for collision detection. What means how monsters know that they are allowed to go somewhere or they not. They need to check collisions with all objects they potentially can collide. But of course, checking collision with every object on the scene. It's kind of waste of resources, and this is why this spatial partition pattern is needed. Actually, all the game field is divided into sectors. Each sector has unique coordinate, and there is simply a loop that goes through each sector, and in each sector the collision between monsters and object is calculated only within sector and only within neighboring sectors. So, for example, monsters who are currently in this sector, they only will be checked with monster from the same sector and from nearby sectors around. So this decreases the amount of total collisions that needs to be checked. We are not checking collisions of every monster with every possible object. We are checking collisions only in proximity. This is actually a very, very advanced pattern. Some simple games probably don't really need it, or games with low amount of entities, because checking collision between everything, it's easier to implement and easier to maintain probably. But using spatial partition, you can actually do hundreds monsters per level, or even thousands. You enabling so-called slaughter maps. If you do like that, actually Doom uses this like spatial partitioning. And I actually did tests. I was able to run like, well, there were definitely several hundreds of cubes represented monsters at the same time. But those monsters were simpler. They just crawl into random directions with no real physics. But yeah, this pattern allows you to keep a lot of objects. And actually, rockets using spatial partitioning for collision detection, and even these things. So when I cross some medkit, I don't check all possible medkit, I check only the one in the sector and nearby sectors. And since we are in debug mode, I will show Explosion Manager. It also has debug mode. Yeah, explosions also use spatial partitioning. So how it works? So explosion happens, this is a radius, and from the center of explosion, there goes a ray to a potential destructible object. So when I launch explosion, explosions checks own sector and every neighbor sector if there is something that can potentially be damaged or destroyed, and it casts rays toward that direction, and then checks the distance. If it's more than a sphere, there is like no damage. If it's lower, there will be a proportional amount of damage depending how far you from the center. And another good example is barrels. I did explosion here, it casted ray to me, and actually I was damaged, I was inside the sphere. And it casts the rays to everything, pretty much. And it checks what can be potentially affected by these explosions. And as you can see, here is a neighbor sector, it casted rays here. And yeah, you notice that in debug mode, some barrels became blue. So what it's for? As you can see, it casts rays to the whole targets, including to these barrels. But these barrels are not reachable by explosion because explosion was blocked by those barrels. And actually, in debug mode, I color to the blue the first obstacle on the way of the ray. And this means that this object, if it's damageable, it can be damaged, but this one is not because it was covered. This is why actually damage doesn't go through wall. As you can see, yes, it tried to cast the ray to this object, but first it collided with the wall, and after that damage doesn't distribute anymore. And it actually even tried to cast the ray to the glass because, yeah, glass also can be damaged, but yeah, here it also was blocked by the wall, but the glass anyway just too far from explosion. Yeah, what else I did? I did saving and loading. When you do save, it just saves file. I will show you that too, but let me disable debug mode. All right, so you can actually save any state. So let's shoot that guy. Let's save by clicking F5. It forces browser to download a save file. And as you can see, save file is quite small. It's very thin, just like 37 kilobytes. Now I force download of save file, but in real life example, you can probably send it to the server somewhere. And saving is actually quite smart. I'm not saving meshes like regular Babylon.js serializer. And actually, I'm not really working with meshes as in-game objects. I created my own classes for every object, and this class may have a mesh as a property, but what I'm saving only basic parameters of each object. I'm saving name, I'm saving position, rotation, and in case of monsters, there might be information about their health. It's regarding player, it's information about how many weapons it has, how many health and stuff. And yeah, it can be easily loaded by picking that file. As you can see, it loaded back exactly where I was, restored state. And this actually also kind of smart thing. So what is level in this system? The level has several entry points. So this is a basic class. Here are a lot of supplemental functions, but main functions are load static data, then load dynamic data, and then load from save file. Let me better show you an actual level. Yeah, this is exact one that we were running. So static data, here we're loading walls. Again, I have special utility classes for that. We're building walls. We instantiate some managers and objects that we will work with. And after static data is loaded, after it's loaded, we launch load dynamic data. And dynamic data, it's all the data that may change its state over the time. So here are weapon pickups, some physical objects that can be pushed, barrels, glass, medkits, and even triggers, because we also have states, monsters, of course. And the level is being loaded like that. First static data, then dynamic data. Or if you're loading from save file, it loads static data. It doesn't load dynamic data. Instead, it loads from save file. All dynamic data is serialized and is going to be loaded from the save file. There were a lot of work put into that, actually. And yeah, I achieved a very thin size of saving files because I saving only some state of in-game objects. I am not saving like any geometry or stuff like that. Yeah. Another actually important thing is dependencies object. It's an object that can be referenced from static data or from dynamic data or from loading from the save file, because sometimes we need to connect objects to its manager objects. Yeah. So this is kind of registry of things that we're adding to the level. Okay, I guess I explained and showed all things that I've been done so far. Go and check it out yourself. The link is in the description. And if you want more information on this, there is actually Babylon.js forum. Yeah, I didn't log in here, but okay. There is, yeah, this is the topic. Yeah, here I explained everything, what is done, what you can try. Yeah, the link, and there is also some interesting discussion about some mechanics. Even received some likes here. Awesome. Yeah, and yeah, of course, since we're here, let me go to that public link. The current state that I showed you here in my local host, it's actually right there. You can try it yourself. I didn't publish code anywhere yet, so it's not like open source at the moment, but when it will be in some more or less ready shape, I will publish source code as well. And now, what are the next steps? I finished implementing some monsters archetypes. Those are debugging monsters, and next logical step is to add actual monsters which will have some more or less reasonable geometry. In other words, my next big step is adding imported models. So, for example, just like a guns, there are imported models like this one like pistol, and there are models who are just generated by the code, like grenades or these like rocket launchers, which like very primitive right now. And yeah, so next logical step is to add ability to my engine to import monster models and to like actually configure them. But for this, I actually need monster models. And you may think that I can find it online and just download it. But it's not actually true. I mean, if we are talking about free models, yeah, I can find some, but they are not really ready to be imported. I will need to rig them, I will need to animate them, and even if I will find something reasonable, what is already working and animated, I still will need to adjust animations to the animation frame rate of my sandbox, and I will need heavily edit them anyway, and I will need to learn a lot how to import them. And once I have those models ready, I can actually start with a code that I will create something like imported monster class where I will process these incoming models and handle it appropriate. So actually I will do something maybe similar what I did with weapons. There is like basic class weapon, but there is class imported weapon. And on top of that, some of weapon classes are based. And we need to do the same for imported monsters. But I need models for that. And we think that I don't have it and I didn't really have time recently to create that stuff. And with that being said, I unfortunately have to state that probably there will be delays on couple or maybe more weeks before I will do next stream because those stuff because that stuff requires some preparation. So with that being said, I have to say that I cannot guarantee that I will see you next Sunday. But yeah, eventually, maybe after some amount of weeks, I will return to that streams and we will do that together. Yeah, today, because it's my first stream in English, I didn't code anything. It was more like overview kind of stream, but usually during streams I like literally code. I try to implement something and we will do that next time when those monster models, more or less at least in its basic form, will be ready. And I don't know when this will happen. Usually I do streams every Sunday, but unfortunately this time there might be a delay. So yeah, please forgive me for that. But anyway, I'm not planning to abandon this. We will continue our streams, our interesting work, and from now on in English language. I just need to ask you for some time to prepare some stuff. However, who knows, maybe instead of that complicated stuff, I come up with some simple topic for the next time and maybe we will do that instead. And in this case, we will see each other sooner, but I don't know right now. I cannot promise. Yeah, so I'm welcoming all new audience. You can write your comments like during the stream and after stream. You can write your comments below the stream recordings on YouTube. I read everything. I reply everything if there are reasonable questions. Yeah, and I will continue to do that, and despite that possible upcoming pause, eventually you will see me a lot and I will do it regularly, like literally every week. And yeah, we will continue, explore, develop, learn, learn together. Again, as I said, I do those streams mostly for myself and I will do it either way, but I'm always happy to see any of you. You also saw my profile on Babylon.js forum. Feel free to reach out to me there. I also have profile on LinkedIn. You can find me actually from the topic that I showed you on the forum. Yeah, hope to see you soon, as soon as possible. We will continue, and again, following streams, no matter when they start, will be much more engaging probably because I will be actually doing stuff. However, I will be mostly silent on the following streams. I actually don't know. Let me know what you like to see more. If you watched my streams before, these like conversational videos where I actually talk a lot and show something, or coding videos where I just keep silent, but like mostly keep silent, but actually do stuff. Yeah, let me know. All right, thank you for everybody who will watch this one, and see you next time. Maybe even next Sunday, but highly likely there will be some sort of delay, but as soon as possible. Thank you. Have a nice upcoming week. See you later. Bye.